Good morning, guys. This is Kumar Shivam, and I welcome you all to the Yo blog. So today, what we are gonna do is we are gonna work on some PHP script that will help us to strengthen the security of any of the projects, the web projects that we are doing right now. So what we are gonna do is I am gonna teach you to make a login system with the use of PHP sessions, so that you can restrict access to the pages of the websites that you are on. It sometimes happen that people have unauthorized access to the pages of the website, so I am going to teach you how to restrict the access to those pages and give the access to the people who only have the login ID and password. So here's a very ugly page that I've made right now in 30 minutes, less than that. So it just have four simple anchor tags, and here's the register.php. We register the details and then we'll log in and log out account. So I'm gonna show you how actually I do this. So here we go. We have, for example, I have registered with a data, that's Kumar Shivam, and this password. So I'm just gonna log in first and put the email ID. I put the password. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna restrict the access to this account page. Okay, so first of all, see, right now if I click on account, it will redirect me back to login.php. Why? Because I don't have access authorization to access this page. Now I first log in using an ID and password. See, it takes me to account.php. Your account is 16. Actually, this is the auto incremented user ID, so not a problem. Now first let's just go to switch to register. Okay, now see, the account page is gone, but right now if I click account, see, the session is on, it's created, it has not been destroyed. So now if I click on logout, I've been logged out, and again click back on account, see, the session has been destroyed. That's why I don't have access to this page. So this is a simple login and register website, I can say. So let's get into it and see how it's made. Okay, first of all, what you have to do, you have to let me delete this. Yeah, you have to create a database named login and create a table named user. The structure of the table is very simple. You have 5 fields: the user ID, which I set to an auto increment. The second is the first name, last name, email, and password. Just use the varchar data types and set the size to 100 or 200, and that will be more than enough. So once you do these two, what you have to do is to create a connection file. So anyone who has ever worked on a PHP database, they know how the connection file works. You have to put the credentials like your server details, your user ID, your password, and your database, the name of the database. So these are the simple things that every PHP programmer is aware of. Just fill the credentials and then make a connection using the MySQL I function. So we store the data in here in the connection data, and we put the credentials here. In case the connection is not made, we will produce this error and the program will terminate simply. So this was just a simple connection file. The second file which we will look into is the register file. So here's the register file. It consists of 4 links, 4 anchor tags, and a form with 4 fields and a register button. So what we are gonna do is just leave this part first come to this part. We have a list, an ordered list, and we have 1 2 3 4 links, first pointing to the register.php, login.php, logout.php, and account.php. These all are files. Okay, so not a problem. Then the second is the form, which will redirect us back to the same file, register.php, where we will execute this code, this PHP code. And we are using the method post for security, because any secure system in which we don't want to show our credentials, we pass through the URL, we pass it through post method. Now you can see there we have 4 input fields. Okay, actually 5 input fields. The last one is the submit button. So we take it as a type text, simple, this one email, this one password, and just a submit button. So this is how I designed the login page. Okay, the second thing is the register page. The second thing we will see the login page, same as above, just 3 fields in the form. Now we have account.php, we have the same 1 2 3 links, the anchor tags. Since now the account means I haven't logged in, that's why it's redirecting me back to login.php. So the fourth one is logout.php. It will have the same 4 links and a message that when we click on it, a message you have logged out. So let's start with the PHP code of register.php, because this is why we are here. Everyone knows how to create forms and all these things. If you don't, just go to W3 schools and learn there first. So let's go for register.php. Once the form is submitted by us, we have 1 2 3 4 fields which we want to first fetch. So what we do, we first we just call the connection.php file, which I have saved in connections folder. That's why it's the path is like this. So we call the connections.php file so that we can make a connection to the database, right? Now second thing, we see that if the submit button is clicked, because our button name was a register, so if the submit button is clicked, we start a session. Okay, I'll let you know what this is. Actually, when we use sessions at the start of any page, we first create a session. Okay, so we will call the session start button, and then after that, because this session start, what will happen when we log in, right? So when we log in, we will set a session, and on each and every page we visit, we have to start a session. Okay, so once you log in, you can have access to all these pages just from that session only. Your session will be activated in all the pages. So now all the 4 data which we passed from that form, we take it into variables, okay, with the use of the post super global, and after that, using the insert query, we push them all into the databases. Okay, so insert into this f name, last name, email, and password. And once we do this, what will happen, the data will come here and sit in our table. Okay, and then what we do, once we register, we need to log in. That's why we shift the header to location login.php, okay, from where the user will log in. So now let's do this one. Register, first name commercial, email is something like this, password is something, and then we click register. See what's happened. What happens is we are redirected to the login.php page, and in the database a row is created with user ID something, Kumar, Shivam, email, and password. Okay, so since we are in the login page, we can log in through the same credentials which we have in the database. So let's see how the login page works. Actually, in the login page, what we do, first thing, we fetch the connections.php file. If the login button was press, means this one, submit login button, we'll put the email ID and password and press the login button. When we do this, email ID, password, login button, then what will happen, the control will jump over here and the PHP file will be executed. Now we fetch the super globals, the email, password from the post super global, and put them into variables. Now the result is, we'll select everything from the table where email is this and password is this. So here if we have multiple, for example, we have 5 fields, 5 rows here, so we will just check where the email ID and password matches, and we will fetch all the data from the row to in here, the row variable. Fine. So the row variable will have actually the user ID and email ID, means the whole data of the table. Okay, so we will fetch the array and we will put it in a variable named row. Now this row variable will have 5 fields actually, the ID, user ID, first name, last name, email ID, and password. Now we can use any one of those fields in our program using their name. Okay, like this user ID, it was here, see, user ID. So we can just use it as like an indexed array, and we can do like row user ID. This is a simple way to fetch data in an indexed array in a PHP. Okay, so now what we do, we start the session first and we create a session variable. Okay, so we have the key, this one user ID is the key, session super global, and what's the value? The value is the data over here. So what's the data over here? We can see the data over here is 17. Okay, so we fetched the data 17 and we put it in a session variable user ID. Now you can name anything, the session variable, anything. You can name the user ID, the username, anything, the email ID, anything you can create with the session variable, but make sure that the session variable actually is unique. Okay, that's why I'm using the user ID, because by structure only it's the primary key. Okay, see, it's a primary key, that's why. And then we will shift the location to account.php. That means we will get logged into our account. So here's the account.php. Well, so first just log in using the same credentials and let's see what happens. See, we are logged into account.php and your account is 17 and the session variable is I printed the session variable over here. So see what happens in account.php. What we do, we fetch the connection.php file, we start the session, and if we see that the session variable is set, that means there is some value inside the session variable. We if there is some value in the session variable, we will proceed down the program and we will display all these things and will display your account is the session variable. Okay, you can put anything in here, you can put a whole web page in here, not a problem. I'm just showing that the session variable is still active, that's why it holds a value 17. Now what if the session variable is not activated? Means what if you haven't logged in, what if you haven't pressed the login button, what if your email ID and password is wrong? Then what happen, this line will never execute and the session user ID variable will never have a value. So what will happen in that case, if not is a set session user ID, that means if the session user ID variable has no value, means you have never logged in, or if you have logged out, you will be redirected back to login.php. Okay, so see, for example, I just log it out and I want to access the account file. See, I have been redirected back to the login.php. This is how you secure your account. This is how you restrict access to the page. Okay, so I would suggest that in your website, any page that you want to restrict, just put this line to in the top of every page. So what will happen on the top of every page, if you put this line, if the person wants to access that page, it will redirect it to login.php. Okay, so this is how it happens. And if you are logged in successfully and the session is set, you will have access to this page. Okay, now what if you want to log out? What if you want to click this link, the logout link? So what will happen actually, if you are logged in, you will be redirected to the logout.php file and you will fetch the connection, session will start, and you will unset the session variable. That means you will clear the session variable and you will destroy the session. Once you destroy the session, a message will flash, you have logged out. Okay, and you can use the header function over here, PHP. You can use the header function and redirect them back to the login file. Okay, so this was a simple login system which have multiple applications. You can use it in your website to increase your security. So guys, this was all from my side. I'll upload the code also, and I'll make sure that similar programs and similar videos are uploaded in the future. But if you want to make sure that you will have the news about it. You want to have the news about the new videos, so just subscribe to our page, actually our YouTube channel, and also do visit our website www.codeacademia.com. Thank you for watching.